Hello, everybody. Welcome. Okay, not sure it's all working, but it seems to be working now. Wonderful. Welcome, everybody, to Women Together. My name is Antoinette, and I'm your host for today and all of our Women Together events. It's a joy to be together, and I'm just opening up the gallery view, which is the little 9 squares in the corner, so I can see everybody today and just say hello. Um, It's just such a joy to see all of us coming together in this way. So, hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. And for those of you who have been here time and again, welcome back. And for those of you who may just be attending for the first time, welcome. It's wonderful to have you and to be all together today. I am standing in New York, just north of the city, and it's gotten a little cooler here. So we've had some of these connections over the summer in quite hot weather here, and I'm curious how you all are doing and where you all are. So many of you already have, but if you haven't yet, you can type into the chat and just share where you are, because that's always nice. Just know where we're all coming from. So welcome to everybody. Wonderful. So I'll give a little background on Women Together and let us land in the space and arrive together. But the basics of what we are doing here is every week we've been coming together in this Zoom conversation. And we've been doing this for the last few months, but we have also been doing it for the last few years on a monthly basis. So over this pandemic time, we increased our timing of meeting together, but the reality is that we had been coming together already, and more we're coming together and finding a need to come together. So some of it is about developing our internal practices to be able to just connect back in with ourselves. And one of the best parts about it is getting to meet each other and just to connect with one another. For those of you who don't know, this was started by Eileen Fisher, who's a clothing designer. And when she started designing clothing, she wanted to design clothing that would allow us to feel comfortable and confident in our bodies. And I think Women Together takes it a step further to go into feeling comfortable and confident in ourselves. So it's been wonderful to be here with you all. And just recognizing what's happening in our world, recognizing what's happening in ourselves, and developing the resilience, the confidence, and the capacity to be able to face whatever comes up in our lives. Eileen also says that there's a powerful energy that emerges when women come together. And I think that is absolutely true. And I've noticed it in my work over the last 10 plus years of working with young women and women's empowerment programs. And I've seen it in these last few years with Women Together, just the energy that happens when we're in a room together, even if it's a Zoom room. We have this connection to ourselves and each other. And then yesterday, I was sitting with a group who was exploring feminine leadership, and just the kind of concept of whether or not we call it leadership, whether it's motivation or inspiration, what gets me up in the morning, what are the traits and the characteristics that are needed now as we move forward each day in connecting with ourselves, connecting with each other, being in community and society together. So, and a lot of that has come into question recently. And in some instances of Women Together, we dive in and explore some of that. And all of that is kind of landing in awareness practice and just becoming more conscious, becoming more aware of ourselves, our bodies, our mind-body connection, and then even beyond that. So we can, just to get that started, land a little bit with a chime. So I'll ring this singing bowl that we have in Eileen Fisher conference rooms, and now we have in our own homes, because many of us are still working from home, although some of us have been going back to work. So wherever you are, wherever you may be, just finding a place to land in the body, in the breath, here, now. And you can try getting both feet flat on the ground if that's possible for you, and exhaling everything out completely. Inhaling, you can fill the belly, fill the chest and the collarbones. And just noticing where you are in this moment. Whether you're sitting on a cushion or a chair, in your own house, somewhere else. Just noticing the feeling of being in the body. Then I'll ring the sound of the bowl to get us started in our moment of stillness, and I'll ring the sound to bring us back. And wherever you are, you can return the gaze to the screen. And if you haven't yet, you can take a little gallery view of all of our friends here today. Just cycling through on Zoom and on YouTube. If you want to type into the comments, you can just share with each other where you are and what's coming up for you. And then we can also share with one another what brought you here today. So today's theme is around reconnecting. And perhaps you've been connecting with Women Together week after week, and you're just back to be connected with this group. Or perhaps you really need some grounding and reconnection to yourself or to others. So wherever you are, if you can type directly in the chat, we can pull in some of our thoughts and comments and just intentions for wherever you are, what you hope over this next 50 minutes or so to really reconnect with yourself and with each other. So welcome Elaine, who says she's a first timer and realized I need more connection, especially with women. And I love this one from Mary. This is how we travel now, to learn about other people, states, countries, cultures. Absolutely, to connect with each other in this way. And Joanne, sorry to hear, recently in a bike accident and just want to keep connecting. Anna, feel grounded, share love, and be with others. Beautiful. Just giving you a chance for a few more. Elizabeth, a bit off today. Tension at home. Yeah, it's sometimes necessary to reset. There's always something that happens, and it's kind of being with the disturbance and when do you meet it and when do you just kind of hold the calm that someone else shared. Ready to reconnect with others and self, connecting to the idea of positive change. This is your safe space, Anna. Wonderful. Yeah. Barbara, just want to calm down from bad morning of no internet. I hear you. I had a few days without internet when we had, I think you all know because I was, or many of you know because I had to go somewhere else to to do the Women Together session. And it's really fascinating how we get so used to the internet. And when we have even just a few hours away from it, let alone days. So, yeah. Paula, happy to be reconnected with this group again today. So much going on in the world and in our lives, trying to keep up with conversations, but falling behind with so much going on in my work and life. Look forward to settling down with all of you. Still in Manchester by the Sea. Thank you for sharing, Paula. And thank you, everyone, for sharing just kind of where you are. A few more just from YouTube. Christine in Mount Shasta, here to stay connected and uniting in prayer for the safety of everyone in California during the time of wildfires. Thank you, Christine, for bringing that in. And yes, California has really been, I just saw some headlines, but also talked to a few friends yesterday who were experiencing ash and just noticing, what it means to be able to have an environment that we feel comfortable and can really live fully in. Dr. Doreen Stern, I'm sad, I hurt inside. I hope to reconnect with the strong, confident self. Oh, this is sweet. The part that prompted me to buy a lime green Eileen Fisher jacket 17 years ago. I feel like we could do an event of the Eileen Fisher garments that some of us have in our closets that were at a certain time in our lives. But thank you for sharing that. Wonderful. So I've often shared a little bit about Women Together and what it means to me, what it's meant to us, the importance of it. I share that, we may not know what each other had for breakfast this morning, let alone what our lives have been filled with and all of the different experiences that we bring to this connection with each other. And yet, when we come together in this way, we're able to kind of connect into the essence of who we are. And that's beyond the kind of identifiers, it's beyond the way that the external world sees us. It's really what we need from within ourselves. It's really sourcing from beyond ourselves and just kind of being fully in that and then connecting with each other from that place rather than trying to find these similarities of you like this or I like that, even though those are fun and we have so many of those. And we also learn from our differences too. So I think that's really, a big part of what Women Together really means is respecting and honoring our differences, learning from each other, understanding that we have so much more in common and that are similar to our human experience, and then connecting into the essence of our humanity and being here together in that. And then there's something that happens when women come together. And I don't know if there are things that anyone wants to share with the chat of what you feel happens when women come together. But we had a poll recently, and it was amazing to see the collaboration and the sisterhood and the empathy and the connection with each other, the gratitude, just the power and the energy of what happens when women connect with other women. So just knowing that there are about 150 of us here between YouTube and Zoom and connecting with each other and holding space for one another to share and to hear what's going on. So it really is, there is something powerful that happens, even when we're sitting wherever we are, that we're these little lights in all of these different places that were shared, from Manchester by the Sea to California to Brazil. It's really just a powerful thing. And the amazing thing, Sandra just said, women just love to connect. It's in our genes. I agree. And there's also some element of what we can do with that connection, because we've had these events. And I remember a woman shared, she said, my family used to get together and, we would just get together and have tea and we would just gossip And the conversation would always kind of, even if it was just a little bit, it would kind of tear each other down just a little bit. And what happens when we can actually lift each other up? And what happens when we can build each other up and say, you know, Anna, I love your smile, or Carolyn, I love those glasses, you know, just little things that kind of lift us up and remind each other, even if they're external things. Maybe then once we get to know each other better, we start to lift up the interesting kind of unique parts of ourselves. I know that many of you have lifted me up when I've been in times of doubt or uncertainty, and that we've lifted each other up in all the different ways that that we can when we are having a down day or tension, or when we're sharing our life experience when it's gotten hard and quite difficult to just keep going. So there's so much in this connection with each other that we really have to be grateful for, I think. And I certainly am. So it's wonderful to be here with you all. And I just feel filled with love for this community and the connection that we have. And with that, I'd love to offer just a breathing exercise, and then dive into a little bit of a meditation space, because as we connect with each other, the way that we can continue to maintain that kind of sense of heartful joy is really by finding what we need. Sometimes it's from within, and sometimes maybe it's ancestral, and you connect back with others who have your back. But we'll do a little of that in a meditation. So for now, we'll just do a little 4-part breath. So if you'd like to close your eyes or lower your gaze, you're welcome to do that. And just feeling again the connection to earth and connection to sky. And just noticing the quality of the breath as it currently is. And sometimes as soon as we begin to notice it, it changes. And that's okay if your breath deepened. And then we'll just do a 4-part breath. We'll exhale everything out. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold 2, 3, 4. Release 2, 3, 4, and hold 2, 3, 4. Inhaling again, 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. Release 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. Inhale 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. Release 2, 3, 4. And hold 2, 3, 4. And I'll let you take one on your own, one full 4-part breath. And in this breath, as you settle into your seat, perhaps you feel a little bit more of a release in the shoulders, a release in the jaw. And then I'll invite you, if your eyes are not already closed, you can close them or lower the gaze. And just in your mind's eye, picture a place that gives you a sense of peace, a sense of calm. Perhaps it's by the ocean or on top of a mountain. But just picture yourself walking to that perfect place that place that just gives you a little bit of joy. And as you walk, notice what's around you. Notice if there are any rocks or stones, if there's any branches or bushes or bodies of water. Just find your perfect seat right there. And as you settle into your seat, just noticing if there are any animals nearby, if there are any beings. And perhaps you notice a being walking towards you, and you know that this being has a great deal of wisdom. So you welcome that being over, invite them to sit with you. Perhaps it's someone you've known for a long time. Perhaps it's someone who's no longer with us. But here they are, right there in front of you, right there next to you. And just notice if they have anything that they're here to share with you. If they have anything that they want you to know. And as you sit with them, you can continue that conversation or see if there's any questions that arise within you. Perhaps thinking back to that woman who was sitting in her living room or her kitchen, just thinking back to that self that you were just a few moments ago, and any questions she may have for this being. When you find that question, just ask and see what answers emerge. Perhaps, how do I deal with this situation? And just notice what's coming up for you. Just being with whatever beings may be here for you, whatever messages may be here, that dialogue, that conversation. And perhaps it's time for that conversation to come to a close. The being has to move on. And so say goodbye and maybe a thank you to them for their wisdom. And just notice again that peaceful place. And just think if there's a characteristic or a quality that you want to take with you. Perhaps there's a message that you want to be sure to remember, or a way of being that feels quite important from that conversation. Just notice if there's a color, or if there's a shell or an embodiment of nature in some way, a stone, a stick, flower, that you can place that quality or characteristic and pick it up and take it with you. And then slowly you can walk, knowing that you have that place to come back to at any time. You can come back and return to this seat in this place. And when you're ready, you can clasp your hands together at the base of your pelvis in a little basket. You can flip out that basket so that the fingers push out towards the floor. And just a friend of ours, a teacher, Zuleika, she calls it dropping your troubles. Just dropping your troubles out of your arms into the floor, and then you can push them out and overhead if that's comfortable for you. Inhale. And then pop your fingers out and exhale and let them land at your sides. Just roll your shoulders open. You can open your eyes. Welcome yourself back to this seat. Fix your clothes, because that's what happens when we lift our arms. Just come back and return to this place. And there may be something fresh that came with you from that. Perhaps that was just a way to find a moment of meditation. You did your own practice, and that is wonderful as well. And if you have a journal and a pen or a pencil, and you would like to jot down any of the messages that you may have received, you can take a moment. Or maybe there were questions that came up, but anything that came up for you just in those few moments, you can take a minute to jot some things down. And just noticing that whether it's within us or beyond us, there is plenty of wisdom for us, and then that we can reconnect with at any time. So we can jot down for a few more moments. I'll give you a chance to journal, and then we'll turn to each other and connect with one another. And in just a few moments, we're going to turn to each other in small breakout groups and get to see each other and to connect with one another. For those of us in Zoom who want to take that time to do it. And for those of you in YouTube, thank you for taking the time to be with us today. We hope to see you in our conversation space all together. Conversations.womentogether.com is where we can continue the dialogue and be all together. But for now, those of us in Zoom will move into breakout rooms for just about 15 minutes and just share with one another what came up for you, or what's happening for you in your world right now. So perhaps it's from the meditation, something that you want to share, or perhaps it's something else, and that's okay too. So you can just share your name, where you're coming from, just holding a place of genuine curiosity and deep listening, really giving each other the gift of listening to each other, making sure that everyone has a chance to speak. So one way to do that is by ensuring that everyone speaks once before anyone speaks twice, and then just holding that conversation for about 15 minutes. So we'll see you back here, and look forward to hearing how your conversations go. Enjoy your time together, and to our YouTube folks, we'll see you again soon. All right, see you back here in 15 minutes.